got a movie review. And this is gonna probably be like a 40-minute video. All right, I'm using my freaking my tablet. That's why it look kind of blurry, whatever. But basically, I'm gonna do a movie review on this movie called Mid90's, which was directed by Jonah Hill, the boy that was in, I believe it was called War Dogs, was the movie, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm really bad with names. And The Sitter, and what's that one movie called that he was in? Uh, with McLovin and stuff. What's that movie called, bro? McLovin movie with the goofy little small dude. I love that nigga though, because he had a fun time with the cops. What's that movie called, bro? I gotta look it up, bro. I'm sorry. Y'all gonna see me looking it up. Hold on. Because I gotta remember that movie. What the heck was the name of that movie? My mind keeps saying Breaking Bad, and I know dang well it's not Breaking Bad. Like, why does my mind think that? Like, my nigga, it's not Breaking Bad. Why do I keep thinking that in my head? But hold on. Give me a second, Uh, Cause Breaking Bad got, what was it? Bryan Cranston for freaking, what is it called? Malcolm in the Middle. That's what I remember him from. Hey, Malcolm in the Middle was a good ass show too, but that show was fire, bro. Uh, Jonah Hill movies. What is that movie called, bro? Oh, he's in a Lego movie. Hey, it was War Dogs. I was right about War Dogs. Oh, I forgot about Sausage Party. The freaking 22 Jump Street and 21 Jump Street. I forgot about those. Django? He was in Django? Really? I don't remember him in Django. What is that movie called? It's not showing it. I remember him in Megamind. Yeah, he was good in Megamind. I freaking love Megamind. Oh my gosh. It's not showing it though, bro. I know I didn't make that stuff up in my head. Uh, we're gonna do it like this. The McLovin movie. Hold on. The McLovin. The McLovin movie. Super bad. That's what it was. I don't know why my mind kept saying Breaking Bad because I know it wasn't Breaking Bad, but I knew it had bad in it. All right, but yeah, that's what I originally seen him in when I was probably like 14 years old, somewhere down the line. When I was younger. I really like him in Super Bad. I like him in 21 Jump Street too. I forgot about that movie. I always like movies about like college and high school. They just like fun to watch for some reason. But basically, he directed this movie called Mid90's, and it is a freaking good movie. I had to take notes, bro, because there's so much about this movie that I really like, and we about to get into it. Hey, like, comment, and subscribe because they do be taking a while to make these videos. If you like what I'm doing, like, comment, subscribe. If you really like what I'm doing, send some money to the Cash App, even if it's like $5. Cash App is SOULEE with a zero at the end, a zero, not the letter O. And hey, if you want to ask me a bunch of questions, just leave some comments in the comment section. I will answer them. Don't leave anything disrespectful. You know, if you say something about a simp or a freaking alpha male or a beta male or feminazis or anything about feminists or anything about like the MGTOW or anything like that, I'm probably gonna delete your comment because I'm just burnt out of hearing about that stuff. I hear about it all the time on the internet. It literally pops up all the time. Bring up something about red pill or beta or black pill or any crap like that. Like I'm just gonna delete the comment because I'm just burnt out of that. If you're a woman or a man and you argue with each other in the comment section, I'm probably gonna delete that shit too. I'm just burnt out of that. But let's see. So basically, this movie is about a dude, a little boy named Stevie. All right, he probably like 11 or 12 years old. He's just a little white boy. And basically, I got the notes, but I really could just go off the top for a good chunk of this. But basically, he's a little white boy who lives with his older brother and lives with his mother. And his older brother is probably like 19, maybe 20. He looked like he's out of high school. He don't look like he's in high school. He looks like he like just got out of high school. So maybe like 18, 19. But basically, this little boy he really is. At the beginning of the movie, we see him go to his brother's room and he kind of likes to play around. Because you know how your older sibling always has all the good shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the older sibling. So my sister comes in and be looking at all the junk I got and stuff, you know. older sibling always has a bunch of junk that's really cool to look at and sometimes cool to play with. And basically, his older brother had like all these different hats and jerseys and video games and all the good rap music and all the bands and stuff, Nirvana stuff, all the bands and stuff. And when his brother would leave the house, he would run in his room and mess with his stuff. And I thought it was pretty funny. Um, but he's a very like shy kid. You can see he's a loner type, and he has like the little long hair or whatever. And basically, he keeps going to this skating shop, and he keeps seeing these group of kids. Like every time he's walking down the street, because his mom don't really watch him like that. She ain't really tripping, because he a boy. They like to give their young boys, independence to be able to kind of run around, do whatever they want, type shit. And every time he walks around, he sees this group of kids, and they always skating. There's a light skinned one with long hair, and there's a dark skinned one who's black, and then there's a white one with a little bit of acne, and then there's a little Latino boy, and he sees them all the time. He sees them outside like the first time, and the second time he like goes into the skating shop, and he always sees them chilling at the skating shop. And basically, the dark skinned one actually works at the skating shop. The other ones just kind of mess around because in this skating shop, there's like a TV in there and there's a couch, and they always kind of just be chilling, And then when he's not working, they basically would just randomly skate in the back. There's like this little area in the back of the store where they skate, and I really like the little main character. I like him because he's just a little kid, bro. And he just happy to just be alive, type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it's funny because it's like throughout the movie, he kind of slowly gets a little more confidence to talk to most of the kids. So at first, it's like, he kind of nervous, kind of scared. Then he convinces his brother to give him a skateboard. His brother has like the skateboard, and he ends up giving the brother like his, I think they were Nintendo 64 games. It looked like he ends up giving him his Nintendo 64 games or whatever, and basically he gives him the skateboard, and it's just like an old school skateboard. And throughout the movie, it's really cool because it's like basically my boy. It's just like he just gets more confident. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets way more confident through this movie. But the first kid that he bonds with is the little Latino boy, and the little Latino boy was so like he started out cool, and then he started out kind of douchey and kind of tried to start little boying him, even though he probably only like a year or two older than him. Because old boy looked like he maybe about 12, 13. That's how old the little white boy looked. And the little Mexican boy looked like he might be like 14, if that. Um, Let me see how many points I went over. But basically, what happens is he ends up going into the back. This is what happens. He ends up going into the back of the store. He sees all the kids skateboarding, and he kind of just sits back there and just watches them skate. And he ends up bringing that like old '80s board or whatever. And the little Mexican boy, basically the black dude is like the leader. The dark skinned black dude who's like dark skinned like me, he's basically the one that's really good at skating, the one that can go pro. And he tells the little Mexican boy to go get him some water. He's like, damn, nigga, you drunk all the water. Go get some more water. And then the little Mexican boy go tells the little white boy, hey, can you go get some more water? So he kind of treating him, it trickles down. And I just love Stevie because he's just happy to be there. He's just like, okay. He just like runs and go gets the water and fills it up. This is really funny because he's just happy that they're just showing him some attention because he really just wants some love because his brother is extremely abusive. Like his older brother is just like douchebag. He hangs out by himself. He don't really talk to nobody, and he's just mean as hell. And he always like beats him up and like bullies him or calls him weak or calls him a freaking. You know what I'm saying? Like he's one of those type of brothers. Which me personally, I don't really like them types, bro. That be hitting their younger siblings and all. Like it ain't even that serious, bro. It's really not that serious. Like I'll never just be putting my hands on my younger sibling. That's just weird as hell to me. But basically, he's socially awkward as hell. Like his older brother's just hella weird. You know, his older brother's awkward as hell, and it's funny because he has that demeanor. Like he could go pull him some females if he wasn't weird. You know what I'm saying? Like he'd probably have a fine girlfriend or whatever if he didn't act all weird. But let me see. Younger. Yeah. But yeah, he tries to like the little Mexican boy tries to clown Stevie or whatever. I put his name on there. Hold on. His name is Ruben. That's what it was. Ruben. So the little Mexican boy's name is Ruben. And he's kind of a little douchebag. But then we find out that he gets abused by his mom, and that's why he's kind of a douche because he gets beat up and abused by his mother. And they say in the movie that he literally waits until nighttime to go home, or when they drop him off, he'll like leave and shit. Um, so that was really sad. But again, abuse is a very serious topic and a very sensitive topic. But me personally, in my opinion, just because you got abused doesn't mean you abuse others, you know. But he's just a kid. But you get what I'm saying. It's like don't continue on the cycle of abuse, whether it's physical, sexual, whatever it is, verbal. I always be thinking to myself like, don't continue that cycle. I try my hardest not to continue that cycle because I was disrespected, you know, when I was younger, when I was in like high school, middle school shit, you know. It was always kids being disrespectful or trying to fight me and stuff. And I try not to continue that cycle. I don't go out and try to fight people and disrespect people and hurt their feelings because I know how that feels, you know, to be treated like crap. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Um, but I understand, you know, he's a kid and he's getting abused by his parents, so it's like he's taking that frustration out on someone else. Like I get it. Um, but yeah, this whole movie is literally just an old school skater movie, and that's why I like it. It's my favorite type of movies is basically the old school movies where it's like it feels like it's just real life and it feels like they ain't really doing nothing, but the moments feel so real that it makes the movie feel like 10 times better because of how realistic the moments in the movie are. So I'll give you an example. There's another movie called Kicks that's really good, that's really similar to this movie. I highly recommend you watch Kicks if you like these real lifestyle movies where you just get to see just a peek into these people's lives and see what they go through and, you know, see how it was back when some of us 90 kids was, you know, young or whatever. But I really like Kicks. Kicks is a really good one. There are a couple of other ones. Dope is a good one. Dope is a good movie if you you know want to know what it's like. Because like I said, I just love like the high school movies and the college movies and just the growing up movies. You know, I always enjoy them. Uh, but basically, what happens is Ruben clowns Stevie's board. He's like, "Why do you have this like board?" He's like, "If you give me $40, I'll give you my old board and I'll get me a new board." So basically, what happens is Stevie goes to his brother, and Stevie's the little white boy, and he asks his brother like, "Hey, can I get $40?" And his brother takes him to his mom's room and basically tells him to steal $80 so he can have $80 and then Stevie can have $40. And Stevie's like really nervous to do it, and you know, of course, his older brother is like hella pressuring him, calling him a coward or whatever, even though he's a coward because he ain't gonna do it. But I don't like when they, you know, when them older brothers be trying to bully their little bro, it just irritates me. But you know, I'm like, he ain't gonna do it. So he basically calls him a wimp, and he's just like, okay, okay, and he grabs the $80. Technically, he like grabs it like really slowly, and then the brother just grabs it out of his hand hecka fast. And he just does that so he can say that you know his the younger brother stole it and gave him the money. He just want to be able to say that shit. Uh, but yeah, that part of the movie kind of annoyed me a little bit because I'm like, why are you trying to make him like be evil like he is? But it's whatever. But anyway, he ends up getting the $40, giving it to the Reuben kid, which is the little Mexican kid. Um, and he ends up giving him his old board, and then he ends up getting him a new board. And let me see, I actually had like 5 pages of notes because I just really love this movie and I want to explain it. Um, okay, but basically, so this is what happens. He does that, and he eventually starts skating with the kids. The other kids are vibing, and he becomes, you know, part of that group. And my whole thing, bro, is I remember there was one part of the movie that kind of annoyed me. Basically, to tell you guys about the characters again. So we have Ruben, right? Ruben's the little Mexican kid. Stevie's the white kid. You have his name is literally fuck shit. That's his name in the movie, but that's the long hair, light skinned dude, and then Ray is the black dude, right? Yeah, Ray is the dark skinned black dude. and basically fuck shit does fuck shit. Like he drinks a lot. He's a junkie, basically. The light skinned one with the long hair is a junkie. He drinks a lot. He does drugs, all types of extra stuff, and it's gonna come up later on. Something bad is gonna happen later on. But basically, and this is one of my favorite parts of the movie. So basically, they chill, they doing all this stuff, and of course, you know that boy Stevie, he really wants to fit in. So there's a part of the movie where they're literally on the top of a freaking high school roof, and everybody's skating over like this little. There's like this little area where there's like a little hole, right? And everybody's skating over it. And Ruben's too much of a coward to actually skate over it. And then Stevie skates over it, but then he falls, and he falls down the hole and literally busts his head open, bro. And he's like he's laid out, and all the dudes are like, "Oh shit!" And then they run down there and shit. It was sad, but like at the same time, like it was just funny because Stevie didn't really care. Like he just got up and he's just like he ain't really tripping, and then his head starts bleeding. And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And basically, Ray, which is the dark skinned one, he tells Ruben to take his shirt off so he can wrap it around Stevie's head so Stevie won't bleed out, type shit. And Ruben's like hella mad. He's like, "I don't want to give my shirt." And then Ray's like, "Give him the fucking shirt." He's like all mad. But he ends up giving him his shirt. He wraps it around his head, and then it gets drenched with blood. Uh, it's pretty crazy though. It was some wild shit, bro. Because he uses, if I remember, he uses his own shirt at first, but then he bleeds out all of them on the freaking thing. It's like red, like Burdock from Dragon Ball Z. And then Ruben gives up his shirt. And throughout the whole movie, you can see that freaking Ruben is getting so mad at Stevie. It's weird because he acts like he's his homie and like they hella cool at first, but then he's so angry because they like Stevie. And he's hella jealous that Stevie's younger and everybody's really fooling with him and think he's cool. He's like super jealous of that. And I'm like, bro, like, why are you hating? He's supposed to be your homie too, bro. He came to you first and likes you, bro, and thinks you're cool and looks up to you. So why are you like being a hater, bro? Sir. But oh, so this movie, you know what this movie reminded me of a little bit? It reminded me, it's like a mix kind of, it gives me the feeling of like the movie Holes with Shia LaBeouf. And it gives me a feeling like the Sandlot. It's like a Sandlot skater movie, bro. That's what it feels like, low key. But one part I really like is later on, Ray becomes really cool with Stevie, and Stevie ends up getting a new board. Ray deadass just steals a board from the skate shop and just gives it to freaking Stevie. And I really like this because throughout this whole movie, Ray is just hella cool. Like he's literally the coolest one of the group. Like he's basically the leader, and he's like the coolest one of the whole group. And he's just hella nice to Stevie. He don't treat him bad. But see, the little Ruben dude was like, oh, like Stevie told him thank you, and he was like, bro, that's gay as hell. He was like, don't say that. You sound gay. And then it's like funny because Stevie goes to Ray, and he's like, well, I don't want to say thank you because I don't want you to think I'm gay. And he's like, what? He's like, that's not gay. Like, that's having manners. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, sorry. And he's like, thank you. That part of the movie is hella funny, bro. Um, so we find out that Stevie's brother is a freaking coward, bro. Because basically what happens is Stevie is sitting down with Fuck Shit and Ray, Ruben. Oh, and the white boy. I forgot the white boy. The white boy's name is Fort Ray. That's what they call him. And basically they all sitting down and Fuck Shit like hits freaking Stevie's brother hella hard with the board, and he's like, what the fuck, man? And he like acts all tough, and then Fuck Shit's like, well, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, nigga? What you gonna? And then he just kind of stands there and like awkwardly, like he's scared, and then he looks over at Stevie. He sees Stevie hanging out with him and stuff, and then later on he wants to act tough. He's like, oh yeah, see, I just wasn't with my crew. Nigga, what crew, bro? Throughout the whole movie, this nigga by himself. I'm like, what crew are you hanging out with, bro? You dead ass hang out alone. Stop lying, bro. Why you trying to front? He's like, man, if I would have been with my crew. That nigga was so corny, bro. You made me irritated, bro. I'm like, you hella corny. I'm like, your little brother is tougher than you, bro. You corny as hell. I swear, bro. But we find out that he's like really on some coward stuff because he got punked and he's scared or whatever. You know. And then he was looking at Stevie like he was so mad at Stevie. I'm like, Stevie really didn't have nothing to do with that, bro. Like, I mean, it was just fuck shit on some fuck shit. Throughout the whole movie, fuck shit doing stupid shit like the whole time. That's why his name's fuck shit. Oh shit. And Stevie's brother is a hater, bro. He the biggest hater. Yo, are you hanging out with your hood friends? He just mad because his little brother is dead ass way cooler than him, bro. He got nicer clothes now, got him a new board, bro. Got him a gang of cool ass friends. And all his brother's been doing the whole movie is hating on him. And he's just hella jealous that his little brother is just way cooler than he is, bro. And they were playing games together or whatever. And it was I liked the little scene at first, and then his brother started doing some weird shit. He's like, "Oh, mom sometimes goes in the room with dudes, and we hear sounds." I'm like, come on, bro, you hella weird, bro. Like, come on, bro. He was just on some weird stuff, bro. Hey, so there's another part of the movie basically where they all go to a party. Fuck shit is drinking. Of course, he's like crossfaded all the time, bro. But Stevie ends up talking to this girl, raising her up. Bro. He's like, oh yeah, he's like, I've messed with females before. She lives in like Florida or some stuff he said. And he ends up getting this like older chick who's like 2 or 3 years older than him. She touches his pee or whatever. And then it's hella funny because when he comes out the room and he goes outside, he's like hella happy. He's like, oh, this shit's hella funny. And all the niggas were like, yeah, they were like, yeah. And it was just some funny shit, but I just like it because he really like my boy got the swag, bro. My little nigga got the swag. And he like pulling females, got him a new board, got him nice clothes, got him a group of friends. Like he really on some clean shit, bro. Like I just really love that. I really love Steve, bro, and he's so happy to just have friends and just be there, bro. But it ends up getting messed up because basically what happens is they have these like big old parties. There's 2 different skate parties that I remember right off the top of my head. Basically, there was like this park that they all went to, and it was hella skaters there, and it was 2 skater dudes who were like probably as old as I am now. Them niggas look old as hell. They're like in their 20s or 30s or something. And Ray is cool with them, because you know Ray's clean as hell at skating, so he's cool with them and stuff. And he sits down and talks to them and shit. And like it's just some chill shit. But the second time we have Stevie. Stevie is drinking and smoking cigarettes, and you know he's doing all this extra stuff to be cool with his homies. You know what I'm saying? So fuck shit bought some drinks or whatever. And he's like drinking or whatever, and then Ray is looking at him like, my nigga, like, nah, bro, you done, because he know he a little kid, bro, but he don't little boy him though. Like he treat him like he's like on the same level as him. But basically Ruben gets mad at Stevie and they have a fight, and Stevie actually beats him up for it was like funny because Stevie really was giving this nigga the hands. I was like you threw the Ruben dude on ground. That shit was hella funny for no reason, bro. But then I kind of felt bad because I felt like the reason why old boy really couldn't fight because he's like used to getting abused, and I really felt bad. Like my heart started hurting low key at that part. I was like, damn. Like I just started feeling sad, bro. Like on some real shit. It actually made me sad. Like genuinely sad. Because I was like, he's used to like getting hit. That's why he wasn't like fighting back. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of messed me up a little bit. But but it was like it was bound to happen though because the Ruben dude was like clowning him like halfway through the movie. So I was like, I already knew they was gonna fight, bro. I didn't know when, but yeah. His brother, Stevie's brother's name is Ian, I believe. And it's funny because that party where I said he got a PV touch with him, he ends up going home and he's drunk as hell, and he tells his brother, he's like, bro, he tells his older brother, he's like, bro, you're a loser who has no friends. And this nigga like chases him around the house. And then this nigga like punches him, and he just starts crying in the freaking kid. I'm like, why are you crying, bro? Like his little brother is clowning the hell out of him. This nigga starts crying. I'm like, what the hell, bro? But it was like I couldn't feel sorry for him, bro, because it was like this nigga was being such a douche the whole movie. Like I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel sorry for Ruben, but I don't really feel sorry for Ian. But I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm like, nah, bro, you been a dickhead the whole movie. I can't. I just can't have sympathy for you if you literally a douchebag. Because Ruben at least was cool at first. You know what I'm saying? And there was 100% signs of him getting abused. They even said it in the movie. Versus Ian, where we don't really see him get abused, but apparently it's implied that the mom abused him. I heard somebody say that in the comment section while I was reading some of the movie scene comments, because I went and looked at like some of the scenes from the movie because I like to see other people's opinion of the movie. And I was like, I'm like, they didn't really say nothing though in the movie though that he got abused. So he was just kind of a douche, you know. But if Jonah Hill did say that he got abused, then okay. But to me, it just seemed like he was kind of just a douche, just to be a douche. And he just kind of had like he was really awkward, socially awkward, had anxiety. Um, but it's like he didn't. His way was basically just getting angry. Like that was it. He just get angry and just be rude. Let's see what else we got on here. So one scene that wasn't cool. Basically, the mom comes to the skater shop. She meets fuck shit, and she's like, "My son can't hang out with y'all no more because y'all on some fuck shit." And basically, she grabs Stevie and is like, "Come on, bro," and puts him in the car. And he's like, "I hate you, mom." He's like, "Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you." And he's like, and I'm like, "No," I'm like, "Come on, bro." I'm like, "That's not cool." I'm like, "Don't talk to your mom like that, bro. Come on, bro." Like he was really like cussing her out. I'm like, "Bro, she just cares about your safety." Like I felt sorry for her, bro, because he really was like going in on her. I was like, "All right, bro, like you doing a little too much." You know what I'm saying? Now if he did that to his brothers, like I get it, but like his mom really was like nice. From what I've seen, she was nice the whole movie, but she did get freaky with some random dude like one time that I saw. But that shit was it was I don't even need really to pay it anymore. That was sad. I was like, don't be a mom like that, bro. But there was a really touching scene that I really liked in this movie, and basically Ray is like the friend that everybody needs to have. Everybody needs a kind soul like Ray in their life. Ray has been through a lot. You know, went through a lot, which is why I kind of give him a pass a little bit. You know, because I really did feel bad when Stevie like started like beating him up. I was like, okay, I'm like, because he wasn't fighting back, and it was like it kind of made me put two and together. It's like he's used to getting abused, so he's like, you know, he's probably scared to fight back, you know. But at the same time, Stevie was also getting abused by his older brother, and they kind of responded differently. You know, like Stevie actually was like, nah, he was about that smoke. Stevie was like not playing. Uh, but Stevie was genuinely like a good kid too. Like the thing about they all good kids, bro. Even Ruben was still a good kid, and I'll tell you why later on. Basically, there's this part of the movie. It's my favorite part of the movie. Stevie goes into the back of the skater shop where they're used to doing all the skating at, and basically Ray comes outside, and he's like, "What's up, bro?" He's like, "You good?" And he's just like, and they have one of the deepest, most genuine, most realistic heart to hearts I've ever seen in a movie. And this is a 10 out of 10 scene. I remember this is my second time seeing the movie. I've seen the movie twice, but basically Ray tells him, you know, stuff just be happening. He tells him about how fuck shit used to be chill and cool and didn't drink and smoke and do all the extra stuff. And then we end up finding out that Ray actually had a brother, and that his brother was going to soccer practice and got hit by a car and got killed. And it was just a few years ago. And he said that they shared a room, and they had clothes in the same closet. And he said it just felt really weird sharing a room with somebody and then not sharing a room with them no more. And it really messed him up. And he said, if I remember correctly, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember correctly, basically what happened was he said that fuck shit actually came and picked him up, and they skated like the next day. He like forced him, like grabbed him out the house, like, nah, nigga, we going to skate. And Ray was like, so come on, let's go. And Ray and Stevie both go skate. And they literally skate all night to the point where they go to sleep on the benches outside at the park. That's the most wholesome, friendly scene I've ever seen in my life. And I really freaking loved it. That's one of my favorite scenes in any movie because it was so wholesome. There was so much kindness in it. There was so much pain in it. But just the fact that he was like, you stressed out, let's go skate. He didn't get mad at him. He didn't judge him. He's just like, come on, my nigga, we're going to go skate. We're going to go get this stress out by skating. And I just really freaking love that movie scene. just them going and skating was just it was a vibe, and there was just so many emotions in it. And I got really silent while watching it because I liked it so much. Um, it's a really good movie scene. Now, there's another scene that's extremely touching that got me a little teary eyed. So what happens is basically, and this happened. This is like one of the last scenes of the movie. Fuck shit, he drinks or whatever, and this is after the little fight or whatever that I talked about earlier with Ruben and Stevie had fought, and basically, fuck shit was like, we're gonna go to a party and we're gonna go see what's up. And that's all he does is party, get drunk, and get high, and do a bunch of drugs. And Ray was like, "My nigga, bro, like let's go home. Like we're like everybody's bummed out. Like why are you trying to party?" And he's like, "Man, he's like stop tripping or whatever." And they end up getting into a freaking car accident. And Stevie was sitting in the front, so he ends up getting hurt, and he ends up being in the hospital. Now, for those of y'all that remember what I was talking about earlier, when I said the mom went in and like cussed fuck shit out and cussed them all out and was like, "Nah, y'all some hoodlums, whatever, whatever." He gets hit by he gets into that car accident because fuck shit was drunk. They end up going to the hospital. He's in the hospital, and this scene was pretty wholesome too. Basically, Ian, Stevie's brother, has two orange juices. He's like obsessed with orange juice, and he has two orange juices, and he opens one up and he gives it to his brother. That was wholesome because he actually showed some kind emotions towards his younger brother, which actually it doesn't redeem his character, but it did make me happy that he was actually finally nice to him, you know, because he was very rude to him throughout the whole movie. So that was kind of his way of saying like, "I'm sorry for being such a douche, and here, take something to drink." And a lot of dudes actually act like this to say sorry, basically. Like a lot of dudes I've met back in my day were friends and they were douchebags. That's usually how they would apologize. They would never actually say I'm sorry. Um, and there's a lot of dudes like that, out there. There's a lot of dudes. A lot of dudes don't know how to express their emotions, or they know how to express their negative emotions a little too much. All this aggression and anger and just this loneliness and sadness, but not knowing how to function like a human being. It's very strange that a lot of dudes have this issue. But it was a very wholesome scene for him to actually give up one of his orange juices because throughout the whole movie, he's basically drinking orange juice. I think there was like two or three scenes of him drinking orange juice. And this was wholesome because after this happened, we see that all the boys slept there at last night. They're all in the freaking emergency room, laying in chairs. And the mom comes out and she's like, "Do you guys want to see him?" And they all get up and they all go into the room. And she looked at them all for a second and she realized like these are his friends and they do care about him. It was a little moment that you could tell that's what she was seeing. Because she went out there, she looked at him for a second, and she could tell that these dudes genuinely cared about her son and really were his friend. Because they literally stayed there all night. None of them went home. None of them ditched him. Because they could have did a lot of dudes in real life would have ditched him. You know what I'm saying? Or they tried to flip the car over and try to drive away on some crazy shit. Like they would have tried something like that and act like it didn't happen. Just leave that nigga out there. That's how a lot of dudes are in real life. So the fact that they actually stayed, they called the cops, took him to the hospital. That was some real cool stuff. Ruben wasn't even tripping about the fight they had like the day before or whatever. And they all end up going into the hospital room and they all end up seeing him. And then I can't remember which one said it. I think it was Fuckshit who said it. He's like, "Man, you could take a hit." He's like, "But you don't have to though, right?" And what was really cool is throughout this movie, you see fourth grade, and fourth grade is like this awkward white dude with acne. He's a cool dude. Like I probably would have hung out with him when I was like 15 or 16. Um, but basically, he tells fuck shit like earlier in the movie. He's like, "I want to be," he says, "I want to do stuff with videos and whatnot." And fuck shit's like, "That's dumb," or whatever. And fuck shit doesn't really know what he wants to do. And then Ray is like, "Man," he's like, "I'm leaving out of here." Because the whole movie, Ray is kind of clowning fuck shit a little bit. Because fuck shit be on that goofy shit. He be doing dumb stuff. So he's like been clowning, but he's like his best friend. That's why he clowns him and tells him that he's doing stupid stuff all the time. And that's why they call him fuck shit. But This is one of my favorite scenes as well in the movie. The movie has a lot of good scenes. Basically, throughout the whole movie, we've seen fourth grade, the white boy with the camera, cameraing everything. And he's like, hey, you guys want to watch something? And he puts it into the TV, and we see all the bonding moments that all the boys have had throughout the whole movie. There's even some bonding moments we haven't seen before. It was like a really wholesome ending to the movie. Me personally, I love these style of movies. I would give it a 10 out of 10 because I love these style of movies. I love a look into people's lives in a movie, a look into real life people and what they possibly went through. And it reminded me a lot of my childhood growing up because I grew up being, like I said before in a couple other videos, I grew up in the black hood, a Mexican hood, and a white neighborhood. And when I was in like sixth, seventh grade, I remember there being a lot of skater kids. A lot of them were assholes, but hey, we'll talk about that another day. A lot of them were pretty douchey. A couple of them were cool as hell. Um, but it reminded me of that. It reminded me of my childhood. This movie did give me a lot of nostalgia. Um, and it reminded me of some of the kids I used to hang out with as a kid as well. You know, there was a little white kid in my little group that I had or whatever when I was younger too. So, you know, really good movie. You know, realistic movie, very realistic movie. This movie is very realistic. And I think Jonah Hill needs to make way more movies. I swear, if he makes movies just like that, just three or four more movies like that. If he made like mid 90s, 92 or something like mid 92, I would watch that. Where it's like all the guys from before and they grew up. If he made it into a TV show, it'd be really good. Oh, I'd watch that all day. Mid 90s TV series. You know, it does kind of give me Atlanta vibes a little bit too. I freaking love Atlanta, bro. With Childish Gambino, that's such a freaking good show, bro. I love the Get Down too. The Get Down was hella good, bro. I watched that like a month ago. That was hella good, bro. I'll watch the Get Down again. Atlanta, I wish I could watch the fourth season. I've only seen like two of the episodes, and I haven't seen the third season because it's not online. Like I have to get like Hulu or something because I don't be buying the websites or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so the website I've used, it only has the first season, the second season. I've watched those seasons to death, and then it has like the first two episodes of the fourth season. And apparently, the fourth season is done. I believe. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. Um, anything else that I had? Yeah, they're pretty good, bro. What else? Oh, you know what? This movie actually reminded me of a lot of other things. This is why I write stuff down. This movie reminded me of Mac Miller a little bit. Gave me Mac Miller vibes. I felt like Mac Miller could have been in this movie. Rest in peace to the goat. And this movie also did remind me of Joey Badass and Capital Steve's because of like the style of music they were listening to. I feel like Joey Badass could have made this type of music. And I also believe Joey Badass skated. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember if he skated or not, but I'm pretty sure he did. Um, it also reminded me of that Lupe Fiasco song "Kick Push," and I really love that song. That's one of my favorite Lupe Fiasco songs. And the show goes on. I like "Sunshine" by Lupe Fiasco. Um, All Black Everything I really liked when I was a kid because I just love the beat. It's really good. Um, you know, Lupe Fiasco got some bangers. I'm about to make another video on rap music. I really love rap music, but I hope you guys have a good night. This was my review on Mid 90s. I think that movie's freaking fantastic. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. Love you guys. Take care. Like, comment, subscribe. Um, talk to your boy. I'm so open for discussions. If you put anything negative, I'm just gonna ignore it. It is what it is. But I hope you guys have a good one. Love you guys. Take care. Pieces and blessings. Peace and blessings. Pieces and blessings.